I wonder, do you ever think when we're singing something in church, why on earth has this been chosen? Well, I can assure you that Edward, Tim, Sean and I, who sit month by month choosing the music, do actually look very carefully at what the readings are and then choose songs and hymns that link those readings that are going to be heard during our service. They may not always be your favourites and the ones that you even know, and I had to think about the first one, but we picked up the tune. But we try to put in a range of music, and with our new hymn book, the one that we've had for the last year at this service, the range of what we can sing has extended. I know that there are also those that think what we might be singing at our 10:45 service is possibly not as modern as it could be. But we're always trying to please everybody and give a real selection. So today I'm telling you all of that because I'd like to go a step further with one of our hymns and actually take a closer look at the words that have been written and how they can relate to us, and indeed to the readings that have been set for this third Sunday of Advent. So I'd like you to take your hymn books and turn to hymn 42. And we're going to be singing this hymn as our offertory hymn. To me, it speaks of what Advent is all about. It speaks to me of what Isaiah is saying in chapter 35 that Deborah read to it. And it also relates to the words that Matthew uses when John the Baptist is in prison and asks the questions of Jesus, are you the one who is coming? Or are we to expect someone else? So let's look closely at those words. Longing for light, we wait in darkness. Longing for truth, we turn to you. Make us your own, your holy people, light for the world to see. As we approach the birth of Jesus at Christmas time, as we await Jesus, the light of the world, as we see the lights sparkling here in church, you drive through the village, when it's dark, it looks all sparkly, the lights in our homes, on our Christmas trees. We're so aware of the darkness that is around us. Parts of Wendover can be particularly dark, and if you live down Dobbins Lane, where there aren't very many lights and rather bumpy pathways, it can feel quite hazardous in the dark. We need light. We need light to see our way. And John the Baptist came to be the messenger who comes to tell us that Jesus the Messiah will come and be among us. If you read on in the hymn, we hear that our world is troubled. Many despair, many are hungry, many are thirsty, many are homeless, many are cold. There are people yearning to belong. And as we look around our world at the moment, we are so aware of those caught up in war, with the continuing bombing of Ukraine and the damage and destruction of that place, of the people that have come to live among us here, who've had to flee from places like Ukraine, places of uncertainty and danger, to come here as refugees to seek some solace and safety. We're also aware, as it's got particularly cold, of those struggling to put on their heating. You may have spotted, if you read the update fairly closely on Friday, that our gas bill for November here in church was £612. For October, it was £250. So that just shows how the jumps are happening. And that's for this big place where many people come through. But those large numbers on our bills are the ones landing on people's doorsteps or in their inboxes, and frightening people as to whether they can make decisions of being able to keep warm in their homes and whether they can feed themselves. And in 2022, that's just not where we expected to be, but is the harsh reality of what is going on in here. In the song, longing, loving, longing for light, we do hear of those in despair as we long for peace, long for hope, for food, for water, for shelter and for warmth. And in Matthew's Gospel, as said, is the promise that in the Messiah we do have someone who will bring hope and bring freedom, will bring shelter and will bring joy. So how can we be part of helping to make this happen? Making the words of the Bible come alive and true for those who are despairing and hurting. I think many of us love this period of Advent because we hear so many of the words of Isaiah. We'll continue to hear them as we move through next week and then into our Christmas readings, when we'll hear the people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Here in chapter 35, after a time of despair among the people who lived in exile, Isaiah is now promising that in the places of desert and parched land, in the wilderness, there'll be a change, there'll be a breaking out of rejoicing, of the promise that God will come and bring hope. A couple of weeks ago, I went into John Hampden Infant School and was talking to the children about Christingle and about the hope that comes with the light. And I shared with them a story that I found that was called The Extraordinary Garden. And it was about a boy who dreams of being able to build a garden where the plants went higher than the skyscrapers and where the fruits were huge. But his dreaming was in quite dark and colourful pictures. But he then went on to plant some seeds and grew a garden that was full of beauty all around, giving him and people around him joy and hope as they saw the garden. In verses 5 to 8 in the Isaiah reading, we hear that the eyes of the blind will be opened, that the ears of the deaf will be unstopped, that water will gush forth in the wilderness, and the streams in the desert. There'll be a highway. It will be called the way of holiness, and it will be for those who walk on that way. It will give them gladness and joy overtaking the sorrow and sighing. The chorus to hymn number 42 that was written by Bernadette Farrell is Christ be our light, shine in our hearts, shine through the darkness. Christ be our light, shine in your church gathered today. We are the church gathered today, in and outside this building, where we're called to be people that are that living voice that is shared until all will be within the walls of the living stone, to give hope to all people and to be people who serve to make God's kingdom come. So that's the message of Advent as we prepare ourselves for the coming of Christ. That's the message of the Christ who will come and be among us. And that's the message that we need to share today, where we would get involved in our warm spaces, in our food banks, in our going out and sharing Christ's love with those around us. This week, I wonder how you can go out and be Christ's light that shines through the darkness, that shines to bring hope to others around us. So in a short while after our intercessions, when we sing those words, just think about what they're meaning to you as we go out. Amen.
And our notices, I've just got a couple. First one is this afternoon at 2 o'clock is the church walk, and they are going to be wrapped up warm, I am sure. Please join at the clock tower. So the walk is leaving this month from the clock tower at 2 o'clock. And next week is our carol service at 7 o'clock. So there will be a 9 a.m. service. But do please come along, bring family, friends, neighbours to our carol service Sunday evening at 7. Also, spread the word. Tomorrow we have our Sparklers, our toddler and baby group, Christmas party. So please do, if you fancy coming along, please do come along. That would be lovely to see you. But let neighbours, let family, friends know to bring their preschool children along. There will be singing, there will be a nativity story, there will be food, and there will be craft activities. So spread the word.
Can people bring mince pies for the carols?
Oh yes, please could you bring mince pies for the carol service? That would be wonderful. When do you want them, Sally? On the day? Next Sunday would be wonderful. Is there anything else you'd like to
say about the 21st?
Oh yes, 21st, which I believe is a Wednesday in the afternoon. What time are we thinking? 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock till 3:30. Here in church, we are going to get together for a cup of tea, cup of coffee, cake, and a time to just talk to each other. That will be amazing, won't it? So please do come along and join us on Wednesday and spread the word again. Wonderful.